Look at this. This perfectly stacked burger, that ice-cold beverage, that scoop of ice cream that somehow never melts. These images are etched into your memory, driving your cravings and shaping your choices every single day. They represent billions of dollars in marketing designed to deliver one perfect, flawless image to your brain. But I need you to understand one thing right now. None of this is real. Every single frame, every drip, every sparkle, is an elaborate, non-edible lie crafted by masters of visual deception. For the last decade, we've been tracking the most insane, top-secret techniques professional food stylists use to cheat your senses. Did you know the milk in your cereal ad isn't milk at all? It's thick white construction glue. That golden brown roast chicken? It was sprayed with a quick-drying varnish to give it that impossible sheen. These are not culinary masterpieces. They are science projects designed to fool the camera lens, not feed a customer. Why this level of deception? Because the moment real food is placed under harsh studio lights, it wilts, it melts, and it collapses into a soggy mess. The food you crave is simply too perishable to survive a professional photo shoot. In the next few minutes, we re-tearing down the curtain and exposing the 7 wildest tricks that multi-billion-dollar companies rely on to manipulate your perception. We are going deep behind the lens. You're about to learn the hidden secrets behind everything from your favorite fast food tacos to the ice in your summer cocktail. But we have to start with breakfast, the meal where some of the cheapest and most chemically questionable materials are used for the greatest effect. The perfect glistening tower of pancakes covered in what looks like golden maple syrup is arguably one of the most difficult shots to pull off in all of food advertising. Because here's the problem with real syrup. It soaks in instantly. By the time the camera is ready, that beautiful stack looks like a sad, sticky sponge. That's why stylists developed a hack so genius, yet so utterly non-edible, that it changed the breakfast advertising game forever. This involves a common household item, but one you would never, ever associate with food. Get ready, because the breakfast trap is the first illusion we're shattering. You have to appreciate the high stakes here. These commercials are multi-million-dollar productions, sometimes costing more than the entire advertising budget for a small nation. The moment a stylist plates a meal, they are working against the clock. Studio lights are hot, the air is dry, and real food simply degrades too fast to get the perfect shot that an ad agency demands. A wilted lettuce leaf or a single drop of condensation can ruin a 6-figure shoot instantly. Ice cream presents the ultimate logistical nightmare. You have roughly 30 seconds under studio lights before it becomes a disappointing mess. 30 seconds to scoop, place, style, and shoot. So what's the secret to that perfectly domed scoop, vibrant in color and completely impervious to heat? The answer is something you probably had for dinner last week, and you'll be stunned at how effectively it substitutes for the real thing. The ice cream shot is the holy grail of food styling, and it's also the biggest lie told in dessert advertising. A real scoop of ice cream starts melting immediately, often sweating and sliding off the cone or bowl before the camera even focuses. To solve this, stylists ditch the dairy entirely and reach for a common food item that can be molded, colored, and crucially won't melt under intense heat: mashed potatoes. That's right. The perfect scoop you see is often just plain mashed potatoes, mixed with food coloring to match the desired flavor: brown for chocolate, red for strawberry. Because potatoes are starchy and dry, they hold their shape flawlessly. They are dense enough to support toppings and can be sculpted with surgical precision, allowing the stylist hours to get the lighting and toppings exactly right. While mashed potatoes are the gold standard, some high-end shoots use a mixture of powdered sugar, corn syrup, and lard to achieve an even glossier, more realistic sheen. Regardless of the recipe, the goal is always the same: create a scoop that is visually perfect but chemically inert. It's a frozen facade, designed only for the eye, utterly inedible and yet powerfully attractive. Even the toppings are often fraudulent. Cherries and strawberries are sprayed with protective coating to look plump. Sauces and syrups again, often motor oil, corn syrup mixed with thickeners or actual paint, are applied to sit perfectly on top without disturbing the pristine potato mound. The overall effect is the promise of cool, creamy indulgence, delivered by a warm, starchy vegetable. But what about the king of fast food, the perfect, towering, impossibly stacked burger? That is an entirely different level of structural engineering. While potatoes solved the problem for desserts, Assembling a burger that looks that high, fresh, and perfectly layered requires building an internal skeleton. The stylist has to turn soft, pliable ingredients into a rigid, vertical sculpture. A secret we are about to uncover with the help of some basic construction materials. A real fresh burger, especially one from a fast food chain, simply cannot hold its own weight and height. The soft bun compresses, the lettuce slides out, and the whole thing quickly becomes a gravity-defying mess. To achieve that majestic, towering, and separated look, stylists install an internal support structure. They are not making a meal. They are constructing a miniature architectural marvel. Ice cream presents the ultimate logistical nightmare. You have roughly 30 seconds under studio lights before it becomes a disappointing mess. 30 seconds to scoop, place, style, and shoot. So what's the secret to that perfectly domed scoop, vibrant in color and completely impervious to heat? The answer is something you probably had for dinner last week, and you'll be stunned at how effectively it substitutes for the real thing. The ice cream shot is the holy grail of food styling, and it's also the biggest lie told in dessert advertising. A real scoop of ice cream starts melting immediately, often sweating and sliding off the cone or bowl before the camera even focuses. To solve this, stylists ditch the dairy entirely and reach for a common food item that can be molded, colored, and crucially won't melt under intense heat: mashed potatoes. That's right. The perfect scoop you see is often just plain mashed potatoes, mixed with food coloring to match the desired flavor: brown for chocolate, red for strawberry. Because potatoes are starchy and dry, they hold their shape flawlessly. They are dense enough to support toppings and can be sculpted with surgical precision, allowing the stylist hours to get the lighting and toppings exactly right. While mashed potatoes are the gold standard, some high. The secret is the hidden skeleton. Long wooden skewers or toothpicks are pushed through the center of the buns, patties, and vegetables, holding everything rigidly in place. To further enhance the height, sometimes small, meticulously cut pieces of foam or cardboard are placed between the layers, giving the illusion of thick, separated ingredients. The components are then glued or held with wax to prevent movement. Even the meat itself is often not fully cooked. Why? Because a fully cooked patty shrinks, losing that impressive diameter and thickness crucial for the shot. Stylists will cook the edges just enough to get grill marks, often using a hot metal skewer or blowtorch, while the center remains raw and plump. They might also paint the edges with oil to simulate that just grilled look. What about that unmistakable mouth-watering cloud of steam? That fresh out-of-the-kitchen look is entirely fabricated. The most common trick involves soaking cotton balls in water and microwaving them until they are piping hot. They are then hidden just behind the burger, out of frame, to generate a dense, appealing cloud of steam that lasts for minutes, far longer than any natural heat. So, we've covered the impossible height of the burger and the fake steam of the fries. But what about washing it all down? Beverages present a whole new set of deceptive challenges, especially when it comes to bubbles and clarity. If you thought raw meat and cotton balls were bad, wait until you see what they use to make a clear glass of milk or a perfectly fizzing soda. Liquids, particularly milk and sodas, pose a specific visual challenge. Milk tends to look thin and gray under bright studio lights, and the real ice cubes melt too quickly, ruining the shot. To fix the thinness, stylists consistently swap real milk for whitewood glue or a mixture of plaster and water. This gives the liquid an unnatural, creamy thickness and brilliant camera-ready opacity that real milk simply can't achieve. Now for the bubbles. In a soda or a beer commercial, that constant, vibrant stream of bubbles is essential for suggesting freshness. Since natural carbonation fades fast, stylists drop anti-acid tablets, like Alka-Seltzer, into the liquid just before the shot. These tablets release a stream of uniform, long-lasting bubbles that are completely controllable and can be maintained throughout the filming sequence. As for the ice cubes in your iced tea or whiskey ad, they are almost always acrylic or plastic. Real ice sweats, clouds the glass, and melts instantly. Fake ice, however, provides brilliant, crystal-clear, permanent visual structure. Often costing hundreds of dollars per piece, these fake cubes are key to maintaining the illusion of a perfectly chilled beverage without any messy, watery runoff. Even the foam head on a beer or cappuccino is often faked. Real foam dissipates, but a stylist can create a thick, dense, unmoving head using dish soap or shaving cream. This foam stands tall and perfect under the lights for hours. They often use a precise mixture that they spray onto the liquid surface, achieving that flawless layer of white that screams fresh from the tap. So far, we've covered the breakfast table, the fast food counter, and the bar. But some of the most unethical tricks are reserved for products that rely on looking impossibly fresh and naturally perfect. Fruits and vegetables. That glistening apple or those vibrant greens are often subjected to a process that involves a common, highly toxic household spray. Get ready, because the shiny finish is the biggest betrayal of all. Real fruits and vegetables, once picked, lose their vitality quickly. They lack the uniform color, the vibrant saturation, and the glossy sheen that the camera demands. A fresh grape has a thin, natural bloom that looks dull on camera. An apple might have tiny imperfections. To overcome this, stylists use methods that prioritize visual perfection over any remote possibility of edibility. That impossibly perfect, high-gloss finish on an apple or a bunch of grapes is achieved using hairspray or deodorant spray. The aerosol creates a clear, permanent, highly reflective coating that lasts the entire shoot. It seals the moisture in, brightens the colors, and creates a spectacular camera-ready highlight that suggests ultimate freshness and vitality. For vegetables like lettuce, herbs, or cucumber, the issue is wilting and dryness. To make them look crisp and dewy, stylists use a spritz bottle, but not with plain water. They mix water with a thin layer of glycerin or cooking oil. The glycerin prevents the water